Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about one day from the launch of a new Path of Exile 1 League. It has been a very long time coming, but I am super excited to get to jump into the new secrets of the Atlas expansion and the Mercenaries of Trarthus League. And today I have a build picked out that I might play for each Ascendancy class in the game. It's been about a year since we've done this, but I will allow you to vote on which one you would like to see me play, and we'll spin a wheel at the end of it. And last time I ended up playing a Static Strike champion to League Start last time. Here was how that wheel turned out. Champion did not have many votes last time, but that's what we went with. I leveled that character to level 97. So here is the list of builds I have picked out for this league. Now, I always have to preface this by saying this is not a list of builds I think you should just go out there and play or would be good league starters. This is a list of builds for me that I'm interested in trying out for each Ascendancy class. There are some things in here that I know will be good that I haven't gotten to play with. There's a lot of new or updated skill gems in here. There's a few memes as well. And I'm going to go through all of these in a bit more detail as we go through the video, kind of give my overall plans for each of them. I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time and let RNG determine the order we go in for each of the ascendancies. But I mentioned you can vote. So this is the comments from the last one of these videos that I did for Settlers League, and you'll have about a day to get votes in. Each new comment on the video specifying an Ascendancy class will get a wedge on the wheel. So how the wheel gets weighted is completely up to you based on all of the options I'm going to throw at you here today. All right, so let's go for it. Starting with Champion. In this league, Cyclone is getting buffed, increasing the base damage and increasing the AoE by quite a bit per meter of additional melee strike range. So much bigger AoE Cyclones. What I would like to do here is do an Impale Cyclone build using Master of Metal, get additional Impale hit, get extra physical damage, go big Cyclone. Worthy Foe only takes 1 point to get into here now. And then you can get increased attack speed, armor, and evasion if you stack Fortify higher. Permanent Fortify is good. Banners are cool. First to Strike, Last to Fall is also pretty cool, but I'll probably try and check out Unstoppable Hero probably. But it's a nice spin to win. Get a much bigger Cyclone going. I had a lot of fun last league playing with Cyclone on my cast on Crit Purifying Flame thing that I did. I think this will be a lot of fun. Cyclone is definitely always fun to play, and hopefully it will prove pretty strong. And they've changed the way physical weapons are going to be rolled because now there's not the prefix Fizz Leech and Mana Leech. Those are now suffixes, so it should be easier to get Fizz-based weapons. Hopefully, maybe through fossils and whatnot. So I'm excited to try that one out. Up next is Inquisitor. This is going to be a fun one. When I first saw the Heavy Strike of Trarthus, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this. This causes increases and reductions to spell damage, also to apply to attacks from this skill at 170% their value, with a 2% chance to deal double damage per 10 intelligence. It also requires you to use a staff, I believe. But there is this Battle Mage node that gives more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast in the past 8 seconds, and you gain added spell damage equal to the damage of your main hand weapon. So you get a big Fizz staff so that you can use the new Heavy Strike, but then you get a bunch of extra flat spell damage from this to go with Bladefall is what I would like to do. You get 50 int from taking Righteous Providence. You scale up your crit chance with intelligence as well. You get that double damage in here. And then I will probably go into Instruments of Zeal, which gives you fanatic charges. So if you've attacked in the past second, and then when you reach for fanatic charges, you gain fanaticism, giving you 75% more cast speed, 75% reduced cost, and 75% increased area of effect, which is going to make the Bladefall AoE and cast speed insane, getting all that extra damage. So we'll work that in with the big heavy strike, throw blades all over the place, probably grab Sanctuary as well for the consecrated ground. That's nice. And if I'm doing fizz damage type things, I won't need Inevitable Judgment here. So that's probably the best way to go. This idea to me sounds awesome. It's going to be so cool to have something that really kind of works with the Instruments of Zeal and the fanaticism. Every time I've tried to do this in the past, it really hasn't worked very well. So this seems kind of made for this kind of thing, and it's going to be fantastic. Regardless of if I league start it, this is probably going to happen at some point during the league, because like I'm hyped for this, without a doubt. Elementalist. The Elementalist got a bunch of changes, kind of changing how Shaper of Flames, Winter, and Storms work a bit. You can reduce enemies' damage with Shaper of Winter now, combined the Golem nodes into one, while also really buffing all of what the Golems give you. So this is a really, really strong node with the Golems. There's even a really nice Herald node in here. And then Bastion of Elements and Mastermind of Discord, Heart of Destruction all work the same. There are a lot of fun things you could do with an Elementalist in this league. A lot of new cold spell buffs. But the thing I saw that I really wanted to try was the Wave of Conviction of Trarthus. An expanding wave of energy surges outwards from you, damaging enemies in a ring-shaped area over a duration. The ring then returns, damaging enemies again on the way back. Only one Wave of Conviction can be active at a time. So you can't unleash this, but it should just go out from your character and then right back in, is what I'm thinking. And you'll get... No, it doesn't have the exposure on this, actually. It says on it that the base duration is 0.5 seconds. That might be the time all the way out and all the way back in, so a less duration attached to this could make it go out and back in faster, maybe. I don't know how that would work. It definitely sounds cool. It looks like it has a lot of damage, good effectiveness of added damage, could inflict some big ignites, and if you scale the AoE up, which is really easy to do with the Elementalist, this could be really, really cool. So with the Mastermind of Discord, you can get the extra bit of exposure, and then Heart of Destruction gives you 60% AoE while you don't have conversions. So that's super AoE. You can get the conversion to 90% by taking Shaper of Flames. Not have to stack Ignite chance, not have to crit, so that's really cool. And then you probably get suckered into the Golem nodes as well, because the Golem buffs are insane. You'd be able to have 3 Golems, they revive themselves, immune to elemental damage, with 100% buff effect. Like, I really, really like Bastion of Elements. It's really, really good. But Legion of the Primordial is insane. Looking at Flame Golem, it gives higher damage now, also gives 20% AoE, and then you get 100% increased effect, so that winds up being 40% AoE, so that's insane. Stone Golem still gives the life regen, 20% increased defenses. That will scale up your energy shield, and that gets increased effect as well. Ice Golem gives flat accuracy and higher crit chance now. But then there's the Chaos Golem, 16% damage over time multiplier. Scale that up, and that's fantastic for an ignite based thing. Also giving chaos resistance that gets scaled up. Like, you get 3 of those golems. It kind of sucks losing the physical damage reduction. I really like that with the Chaos Golem, but wow. Looking more at it, I could even see a world where I don't take Heart of Destruction and take the defensive route to not take Reflect and get the Aegis up here, looking something like that, because there's a bunch of AoE here. There's Golem nodes that give you increased buff effect as well as another max Golem. It certainly seems like it'd be fun and new stuff to explore. I am excited for this one as well. Ooh, Ascendant. I have a really fun plan for this one. This was an idea suggested to me before the Phrecia event by someone to go to lab and just like whatever the first transfigured gem is, pick from one of those three and build around that. So that is my plan for the Jack of all trades Scion Ascendant. While playing the character, the first skill gem to drop outside of the one you start with, the Spectral Throw, that will determine the color of the gem. I will take that gem into lab, transfigure it. I will have three options. I will pick one of those skills and then build my character around that. That is the plan. It could be really cool, could be really bad, could send me in really unique ways. Who knows what will happen with the Ascendant, but that whole idea just seems to work perfectly for the Ascendant. And that might be like my go-to Ascendant idea for any Ascendants I level from here on out, honestly, because that seems like it's a lot of fun. So this really could be anything. We won't know. But if you would like to roll that RNG and see what happens, you can vote for the Ascendant. Chieftain. Now, I still have not gotten to play a Righteous Fire-based build in like 6+ years at this point, so I've been kind of holding on to that for a Chieftain, but I saw a gem that made me change my mind. Shield Crush of the Chieftain. It's getting a higher flat damage added per armor on shield. The attack time has gone down, the mana cost has gone down on it, and this seems like it'd be fun to experiment with and play around, stacking a bunch of flat fire damage, which of course will work nicely with the Chieftain. That's not all though. There is a new Chain Hook of Trarthus that throws chains ahead of you, attaching them to targets on hit. Enemies chained to you will grant rage when hit. When chains are broken, they snap and deal attack damage in an area around the target they were attached to. Requires one-handed mace, scepter, sword, or axe. So this forces you into a one-hand weapon, so I'll have to have a shield with that anyways, and this seems like a fun way to grant yourself rage. So I think you would just like throw chains out at enemies, they'd be attached to them, then you hit them with the shield crush, and it's like a big nice 1-2 combo. I think that would be super fun. Then as for the Ascendancy, definitely want Tassalio and Valico. Get the big max res happening there. The chance to explode enemies probably is good. I don't think Tukuhama War's Herald would work with the Shield Crush, so maybe go into like the Warcry buff effect. That could be really strong. I don't know if it'd be any kind of Ignite thing either. Maybe even Namahu Flames Advance. That sounds cool. A Jewel transforming stuff to apply fire damage. So something like this physical damage from one-handed melee weapons, I think that could change it into fire. I don't know. It seems like it would be fun. Definitely something new to explore, and that's my favorite thing to do in Path of Exile is explore new things and make crazy things happen. And that Shield Crush looks like it would be strong with a big armor stacking shield. Get big block there. I like that idea. Deadeye. With Deadeye, I want to try out another new Trarthan gem. Siege Ballista of Trarthus. Throws down 8 ballista totems in a ring that fire once and pierce 9 targets. And huge totem placement range on there as well. For real, like how cool does that look? It looks like it could obliterate a single target. Maybe you work some Impale on that and go like real biz heavy with it, or stack lots of elemental and just throw down tons of damage. They fall fire once, you make more of them. So why not try that out? I would definitely want the frenzy charges here. I think I would want Focal Point as well to throw a mark down on an enemy. Poacher's Mark gives extra physical damage to enemies hit by it, and you get a bunch of increased effective marks, so if you're stacking a Fizz-based weapon with Impales, that could work really, really nicely, and not have to worry about crit that way. And then you still get the Tailwind. Wind Ward is also fantastic. This is probably what I would be looking at here, and then go like full in on totem damage type things. Because why not? Each totem applies 1% increased damage taken to enemies near it. I mean, yeah, that sounds super fun. Sounds super cool. So like all of these, no matter what is chosen, like I curated the list. So I'm going to be happy to explore any of these builds. I think this one will be a lot of fun as well. And then we roll the Necromancer. Now, I've already done the coolest thing I could imagine with a Necromancer that is not a minion build with a like, body swap ignite crazy thing that I did. And minion builds definitely aren't my favorite thing. And last league, I was interested in trying out this Unholy Might thing with skeleton archers. But then after thinking about it for a bit, I decided, you know what? Stone golems do lots of fizz damage. And if you're scaling minions, the stone golems could be cool. And then you can get more golems and have an army of stone golems maybe. And then you could convert all of the stone golems' damage into chaos. I don't know that you could really get enough chance to poison that they would always poison. I don't know that that's in the realm of possibility. But just for raw chaos damage, they could do that and maybe still add in those skeleton archers that I was thinking about. And we do chaos stone golems. And the stone golems will scale up the energy shield, go block, use offerings, go for the minion build thing, bone barrier if I need it, or just try to increase their damage a bit more with the aura stacking, the resistances here for free. No corpse stuff though. No detonate dead, no raisin zombies. I mean, I feel like specters might have to work their way in. With the ritual specters, those are just so good. So maybe that would have to come into play at some point, but the plan is stone golems that deal chaos damage. Make it work. I've done crazier things, that's for sure. I don't know how far it would go, but it would definitely be fun to explore, and no one else is going to be doing that, so you know what? Why not me? That seems like it'd be fun, and if I'm going to play a Necromancer, that is what I will do. Juggernaut. This is something that's been on my list for a long time. Bone Shatter has like come into and out of the meta, it seems, and I still have never used this skill. So if I play Juggernaut, I want to play Bone Shatter. Probably get the like big defense, endurance charge stacking, then maybe you can get the accuracy here, extra attack speed. Maybe that's how it would look. Unstoppable is nice, but endurance charges are so good. It's definitely something I have long wanted to do, and now fossils and the harvest bench will be better at rolling fizz weapons by moving that nasty physical leech for life and mana to the suffixes again. So I think it's more approachable than ever. We got new big armor bases last time to be able to stack even more armor, be super tanky, try out a skill that I've always wanted to play around with. That is the plan for Juggernaut. Hierophant, the other meme build on the list. The big change to Hierophants. Got rid of the mana reservation efficiency on Sanctuary of Thought, and it now has regenerate 1% of mana per second. Still has the big AoE, up to 100%, still get the mana as extra energy shield here. So when I saw this, my first thought was, what about Mana Bond? Mana Bond has a cost of 5% of your mana. Deals lightning damage based on your missing mana in a circular area around the targeted location, as well as in 4 rectangular extensions whose lengths depend on your remaining mana. And you deal extra lightning damage equal to 54% of missing unreserved mana, and it gets longer per like mana. So it's kind of has an Archmage thing built in, and you stack tons and tons of mana here. And with this Mana Bond, you can probably spend mana really quickly if that 5% scales with the support gems that you put with it. So having that extra bit of mana regen will help a ton for trying to make this viable in any way. So while I say it's a meme, I think it'll also work pretty well. Get the Arcane Surge on hit, gets more cast speed now. That's more spell damage, could get crit chance, and the endurance charges super good. Or go crazy with the AoE and get leech from it. Reduce effective ailments with Illuminated Devotion. Like, this could be really fun to try and make work. If the damage is good enough, this is probably the way. If I need to be more tanky, Conviction of Power for sure. But I am also confident I can make Mana Bond work, or I will do everything in my power to prove why it is bad. I also had the thought about doing some Stormburst cast spell channeling with the new Tarthan Stormcall thing, but once my mind thought about Mana Bond, I couldn't let it go. So that's definitely the way I'm going with Hierophant, should you vote for that. Warden. This is another one I am super excited for. So ever since I saw this, I've never really known exactly how one would use this Oath of Summer note. Giving up your Ignite always seemed bad, and then if you were just like getting an Ignite to get a Scorch and you weren't scaling lots of fire damage, you wouldn't get a big Scorch for this, but then you could inflict 2 of them. This note had seemed weird, but this build is going to use it because of the new Blast Rain of Trarthus. This seems super cool. Fires a single arrow up in the air to rain down at a targeted location. The arrow deals area damage around where it lands, as well as releasing a wave of fire, which will apply a burning debuff to enemies. The impact of the arrow will also inflict this debuff. So this will just apply a fire dot. Modifiers to projectile damage apply to the skill's damage over time. 100% fizz damage converted to fire. Quality gives fire dot multi. And since it applies a fire debuff, like a burning thing, that has a dot multi to it, you can scale that up, and then the ignites would then turn into scorches to lower resistances. You have 2 curses, you have exposure, you stack ash on that, and this will deal a ton of damage. You would definitely want some way to scale up the AoE on it. 3.5 meters doesn't seem super huge, and modifiers to projectile numbers do not apply to the skill, so you got 1 arrow, it lands, applies a 4-second dot to an enemy. But that means what a perfect time to try out this Oath of Summer Ascendancy node with the Warden. So then I would get Avatar of the Wilds to get more elemental damage while unbound. Then probably go for the ranged weapon tincture effects. I know those can roll a dot multi on them too, I think. And then I could get the bark skin, which is cool. Get an additional tincture if that would work itself in. Really buff the efficacy of tinctures and not have to worry about the mana burn as much. That's a possibility there. Definitely different than I've thought about any Warden build previously conceived. So that is exciting, something I'm really eager to explore, and I think that new Blast Rain skill is going to be awesome. I think this build has big potential to do tons of damage, and it will certainly be a fun one. I still really miss the Raider, but this is the first time I've genuinely been excited about something I could do with the Warden. Up next is Saboteur. This is another one I am very excited for. I have done a lot of different things with these trigger bots since they were introduced with Spellslinger, and Spellslinger got buffed. But Saboteur also got new things. Bomb Specialist got buffed. There's a Shrapnel Specialist. Projectiles are fired in random directions and have a 50% chance to return to you. Your crit chance is lucky, but damage is unlucky. But you know I gotta go with the trigger bots. But what to do with the trigger bots? Has to be something with returning projectiles. I've done that before with Frost Bolts. That could definitely be done again. And we would definitely want Born in the Shadows, probably like clockwork here. So it probably looks like this. What I would like to do with Spellslinger, which has had its reservation override dropped to 20% from 25, so it's not going to reserve as much mana, so it's not going to scale as hard when you apply support gems to it. And supported skills have added spell damage equal to 194% of damage of equipped wand. And they've also said they've lowered the attack weighting that can roll on wands, so it would be kind of difficult to roll flat attack damage on a wand. But what if it was chaos damage? Using Soul Rend of the Spiral. Fires 5 projectiles in a spiral. Is getting the dot damage buffed. Deals tons of chaos damage. Projectiles pierce all targets. They'll go out. Half of them will come back. Scaling up the spell damage also applies to the dot that it'll apply. And since, like, I wouldn't have to add additional projectiles to this, you don't have to stack a GMP on it like you do a normal Soul Rend. So there's just going to be projectiles firing all over the place, but with every attack, they fire from 2 different trigger bots. So that's 10 projectiles each time they go off. And then they're going to, half of them come back. And there's even a cat MTX. Launch cats everywhere. But then if you wanted to roll chaos damage on a wand, right, there's only 2 mods on the prefixes. And there's only 1 tier of the flat chaos damage, so when it hits, it just hits. It'll be there. Getting +1 chaos spells, also a good thing. You can't just give flat chaos spell damage to anything. So the only good way to scale that with the spell slinger would be with a chaos wand. This seems like it'd be super easy to get and maybe craft. Actually, the flat damage has a higher weighting, at least this might be old numbers, than the chaos spell gems. It's definitely fixing to be crazy and will just obliterate maps, I am sure. Spellslinger is so much fun to play with the trigger bots. This will probably be the most satisfying thing to play and look at on the list that I've made for this league. Gladiator. My thoughts with the Gladiator are to play with Blade Flurry. Channeling melee skill, it's got its damage buffed up a little bit. Requires dagger, claw, or one-handed sword. Extra damage at max stages. Now, I could do some kind of bleed stuff with it. It does give more damage with ailments per stage. Thing you could do there. But the requires claw, dagger, sword. 20% leech is instant while using a claw, which that sounds super good. It hits a bunch of times, so there'd be a lot of big leech with the weapons master. Could get a bunch of accuracy by using sword and claw, or get more crit chance while wielding a dagger as well with it. But I think I take the weapons master, and determined survivor gives inherent bonuses from dual wielding are doubled. So that means 40% attack block and 20% more attack speed. So lots of really fast hits would come out of that. And then you can make the chance to block lucky for super defenses, war of attrition for more boss damage to stack that up. Or if I feel like it has to happen, you can go for the bleeds as well, the bleed explosions. That might end up being better. I don't know, I'm kind of up in the air about it, but I know I want to dual wield Blade Flurry. That's definitely where we're going with the Gladiator, and just see where it takes me. See what we can make happen with that. Be it bleed or super tank, I think that will be fun to explore. I have not played with the Gladiator since we've gotten the changes for the lucky block and stuff. There's also the retaliation skill thing as well that I've not really played around much with, the retaliation things. So a lot to explore with the Gladiator. That will certainly be fun as well. Up next is Assassin. Now, Assassin hasn't changed in quite a while. Still can gain power charges on crit, extra power charges, extra crit chance, and multi with power charges. My initial thought when looking at Assassin was with the Spectral Helix of Trarthus. This throws a trap that can throw a bunch of Spectral Helix, but I don't know that it would actually work how I would want it to there. If you wanted to do like a poison Spectral Helix. This says recover % life per poison affecting enemies you kill. Traps don't count as you, but kills with poison do count as you, so that would work. But then you get increased poison duration for each poison you have inflicted recently. Does the traps applying poison stack that duration? If they don't, then that wouldn't work there. The poisons you inflict with crits deal more damage. Like I don't know if it works. So I also don't know if you could get the elusive with a trap hit. Like it just doesn't seem like it's there. But there were also lots of buffs to cold spells So I figured this is probably the spot to go with a cold spell. Probably something looking like this. Maybe ambush and assassinate, maybe opportunistic. This is definitely better for bossing. I really like how elusive works. And the skill of choice will be Eye of Winter of Transience. It gained effectiveness of added damage, lower mana cost, lower cast time, big flat damage upgrade. This seems like it'd be strong. Spell Echo is also lowering its mana cost multiplier. Doesn't have the less damage on it. So Spell Echo just means you would throw 2 of these. And that's kind of the plan there. Throw lots of Eye of Winter, do crits, freeze things, shatter stuff, and yeah, that's what Assassin is awesome at doing, so that is the plan there, and you get that extra base crit up to 7.5 that you're scaling from with this Eye of Winter. Yeah. Next we've got Slayer. For Slayer, I think I will try out the new Sunder of Trarthus. What it seems like this can do, it seems like the Sunder Wave can bounce off terrain or enemies and like change directions maybe. It seems kind of crazy. Nice big two-handed attack. Get the big culling here. Discord was trying to get me to switch my Slayer to Explosive Concoction, but I didn't see that here. So it probably looks something like this. Try out the new Sunder. I haven't played Sunder since Xana was actually still in the game, so it's been a minute. Impact gives more damage based on proximity, and with Sunder you're probably not getting super close to everything you're hitting. Even if you got the accuracy in AoE here, I don't think that's worth it. Probably better for like the Overleech, the Culling Strike, extra damage, no Fizz Reflect, get the Endurance charges based on max frenzies, all good stuff there, and go see what the new Sunder can get up to. Probably go Impale on that as well. A lot of Fizz themed things in mind for this league, and I'm liking that because it doesn't seem like it's been there for me in a while. Because it always seems so nearly impossible to get the weapons. So I'm really hoping it's easier to get Fizz weapons to roll. Guardian up next. Guardian got a fun addition from the Phrecia event with the increased effect of shrine buffs on you and gain a random shrine buff every 10 seconds. I had a ton of fun messing around with this in the Phrecia event, so that's definitely something I'm looking to play around with. You get all of the shrine duration you can on the passive tree, the Atlas passive tree, and then these random shrine buffs will stack and last way longer. And then the Atlas passive tree has buffs to your character in this way. And then I have played SRS with a Guardian. I have played Domination with a Guardian. I have played Absolution with a Guardian. And then like outside of playing an Orabot with a Guardian, like there's really not much else to really kind of go after here. So you get Radiant Crusade. That's a nice buff. You get the extra auras and you get the fun extra block, probably. But what I'm thinking here is to play Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow. That's something a lot of people have been playing around with the past few leagues. Something that I have not touched at all. And I think that's what I would explore here with the Guardian, playing around with the new shrine stuff. See, I don't know with a bow if this block is worth. So I don't know if Time of Need would be it. Getting extra armor based on mana reservation, get extra energy shield there. I'm not super sure how I'd go about this. I just know I'm going to try the Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow stuff. Means I might get stuck farming a lab for a bunch with this. But I hear Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow is good. And I know this shrine buff every 10 seconds is super awesome. So it will be a lot of fun to play around with that. There is nothing I could think of for Guardian that I'm just like super pumped for. I feel like I've drained the Guardian of just about everything that it really has to offer in a solo self-found environment. So this is like the only thing left, it feels like, for me. So that's what we'll do if we go Guardian, but I feel like I've played way too much Guardian over the past year and a half, 2 years. Pathfinder. This is probably the most meta choice on the list. But ever since it was introduced, I have wanted to play around with the Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing. I have not gotten to use it. and I probably want the flask charges against life flask. Maybe it looks like this. I don't know. I want to play Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing really, really bad. That's near the top of my list of things I've not done that I would really want to play. So that, once again, this was on the list last year for Pathfinder. It's on the list this year because I still have not gotten to play it. So something I am very eager to play. I know it's good from things I hear from other players. And I've only ever played Poisonous Concoction when it didn't bounce. So this is something I'm really excited to get my hands on and try. This will probably happen sometime this league regardless of it being league start or not, because this needs to happen for me. Up next is Trickster. Trickster got a little bit of a nerf, caused mostly by the new base types of items that you could get deep in the end game with the crazy evasion ES on them. So Escape Artist got nerfed just a little bit, though you can still stack tons of evasion and energy shield using Escape Artist. What I want to do with the Trickster, I haven't played a Trickster in years. I definitely want damage, leech as energy shield. This is going to be a CI build using Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice. Deals 20% of your max ES as base chaos damage. Take 50% of max ES as chaos damage. So going CI takes this off of here. You get a bunch of extra flat damage for the skill that just targets a bunch of nearby enemies. And if you stack a ton of energy shield, you just add a bunch of flat chaos damage to that. And then this would give a ton of ES leech off of that chaos damage. Give me more cast speed. Doesn't remove the leech effects. So even if I were taking that damage, like, I could leech it, but the idea is to not have to deal with that. Then I'm not sure what else I would do here. Probably one step ahead to get more speed. And then if I can find a way to get frenzy charges, Swift Killer's obvious take there. Polymath is cool, but being a chaos-based skill, like, how many masteries am I actually going to be able to get? Plus 2 max frenzy charges is already a ton of speed. Being able to throw lots of the Forbidden Rite out would be pretty cool. It'd be fun to play a Trickster again, and that Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice kind of forcing you towards CI sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't done a CI build in a long, long time either, so I think this would surely be a fun Trickster one. Probably not some poison thing. This is more just like stack as much chaos damage and get wither. Probably have a nice withering step on here. Would certainly make for a fun thing to try out. Only 2 left. What do we got? Looks like Berserker up next. Berserker has also received some changes. It got rid of the blitz charges. There's now instant life leech back here behind Aspect of Carnage. And there's a new node called Ancestral Fury. Strike skills also target the previous location they were used. So my thoughts here was I want to play with that. Warcries exert twice as many attacks. Easily take that. Rage grants increased attack speed. Get big rage effect out here with Rite of Ruin. That, like, I could go that route or do something like this. And I want to play, it has to be some kind of strike skill. And I earmarked Bone Shatter for the Juggernaut. Here, I think I would like to play with Smite. There's also a Vol version of Smite. I've never really used Smite as a main skill, and it seems like it would be fun to play with. And if you get tons of exerts out with the Ancestral Cry and hitting lots of targets, and then it just happens again in that same location, Smite has a really nice big AoE to it. I think this could be a lot of fun. Berserker's always fun. Berserker's fast, get the rage, feels good, tons of damage. Again, I'm still not sure which way I go on this. The increased effect of rage could be huge. It feels like so much degen though. I kind of feel like Aspect of Carnage is just a little bit safer, honestly. If you're gonna just crush everything, it'd be better to not be taking damage for doing so. So probably something looking like that. Use Smite and see where we can go with it. I've never done any of this strike previous location things. I know there's a ring for that. I've never done it, so it'll be cool to see this work and cool to play around with Smite. And that just leaves the Occultist. Now there's a lot of cold stuff that got buffed, skill gem wise and whatnot, but chaos dot stuff also got buffed, including Death's Oath. That is a unique that I've never used, I've never built around. So for Occultist, I want to play Death's Oath Essence Drain, Contagion. Nearby enemies have reduced Chaos Res. Take away their life regen. Nearby enemies take Chaos damage with Death's Oath on. Deal more Chaos damage. Inflict the Wither. Get a Blasphemy Aura, so that you're just exploding nearby enemies, dealing Chaos damage. You're scaling Chaos damage. Get an additional Curse. Apply it to Hexproof enemies. This is probably the way that ends up looking. It's kind of the Chaos Righteous Fire build, in a way. And that is an armor chest piece, so I don't think I'd want to go into messing with Vile Bastion. So we'd have to like path into some kind of armor stuff. But also the Stone Golem, giving increased defenses, can help scale up the armor. That would be cool as well. Chaos damage stuff up here. The Wither. Essence Drain dot went up. That top end is like 350. Almost a 20% damage increase at level 20, which is insane. The Contagion of Subsiding is crazy. That'd be really nice for single targets. But yeah, it's everything Chaos dot has been buffed. Soul Rend, all the Contagion, Essence Drain. It seems huge, and it seems like it'll be fun. Running around exploding enemies just passively with Chaos damage. That's a fantastic map clearer. It was the first build that I actually locked in for this. Reading the patch notes and seeing the unique changes. Death Aura, granted by Death's Oath, now deals 1250 Chaos damage per second. Previously 1000, so 25% more damage out of that. Scale the Chaos damage up on it. Seems like it'd be awesome. And there we go. Now you guys can comment below the video. You've got about a day to get those votes in before I tally them up. Each vote for an Ascendancy class, each individual comment will add a wedge to the wheel, and then we'll spin it right before I get in, and that will be the Ascendancy class that I play. There's a lot of these that I'm really hyped for, really excited for. If there's any I'm not like super pumped for, it's honestly Guardian. The Necromancer is a giga meme with Stone Golems as well. But I also don't want to just like play cookie cutter minion build. Like I'm not a big fan of minion playstyle or anything, and those two Ascendancies just don't have a ton else other things really going on for them. So, and Detonate Dead got obliterated, so Necromancer seems like a pretty rough spot for doing things that are not necro builds. So it's always fun to see what you guys will vote for. Last time, most of the votes were for Righteous Fire, Retaliation skills only, and Storm Raid and Warden. So I never know what you guys are gonna vote for, but we'll see what comes for the league start. But that's going to do it for this video. I will see you all in the Mercenaries of Trarthus League here in just over a day. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button as it really helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss more videos from me. If you'd like to help support my channel, please consider using the super thanks, the heart icon just below the video, or by joining to become a member. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.